Good morning, happy Friday, and welcome to Element 8's quarterly Data Liberation Front webinar. I hope we're live. I'm guessing we can. My name is Jaco Marquardt from Element 8. If you're not familiar with Element 8, who we are the distributor for the Ignition Industrial Automation Platform, Microsoft MES, and Canary Data Historian. Why we exist is to ensure a flourishing future for industry. Our guiding principles are to humbly serve our community and industry, learn from others, share what we've learned, and what we provide is intuitive and scalable technologies that break down the barrier of cost and complexity. So it's a little bit about us. If this is your first time joining the Data Liberation Front webinar, it's a quarterly webinar where we cover all news and updates about Ignition, Canary, Microsoft, as very importantly also cover some amazing applications coming out of our community over the last little while, like we all have today. So I have with me, I have Larry Lowenstein. How's it going?
Hi, good morning.
Sales engineer at Element 8. And then we also have Craig Marsden and Jacques Venter, both directors and engineers at Concera. Gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning, buddy. Thank you for having us.
I'm looking forward to see what you've done and what you've developed. We're really excited about the application, and we'll get into it in a few minutes. And then, of course, we have Luan as well. Luan is managing our behind the scenes. If you do have any questions, please do ask in the chat. We will either attempt to answer the question as you submit it, or we will park it towards a quieter time or towards the end of the webinar, and we'll answer any questions. We haven't done a giveaway in a while, have we? We haven't given away any socks or mouse bears. Can I offer something? Luan, can I offer something? I want to say for the first question we get in, it's got to be there's got to be some terms and conditions to this question. But for the first question we get to us or the panelists, we'll do a hamper. I think we'll do a mouse pad and a pair of socks. And I don't know if you guys are wearing your socks today. But
can I also ask the question?
Sure. All right, so our agenda for today is we will share some community news. We will give you some updates on Ignition and Canary specifically. We want to introduce you to a new training offer available from Element 8 that we're really excited about. And then obviously the highlight of today's webinar is the application showcase with the gentleman from Concera showcasing what's been done for Sibanye-Stillwater. So that's our agenda today. Some new partner certifications the last 2 months, really. We have Ignition certified integrators new to the integrator program and now also certified Artiflex engineering and hybrid automation, the team down in KZN. Well done to you guys. And Advances that has achieved their Microsoft MES certified status. Well done to you guys. I know it's a lot of time and investment that goes into the certifications. So well done for getting it done. Right now, we have over 200 certified engineers in South Africa, which is really encouraging and nice to see that the learning and the certification is prioritized. That's always a good thing. We've got 15 gold certified Ignition partners and 20 certified partners, and that's the most recent update. If you're interested in the partner program, please reach out to Clarice, who's our channel partner lead. She will be able to help guide you along the process and through the process of signing up and learning and enablement. And there's a little QR code. I hope it works. I haven't tested in a while, but that should work. If you scan the QR code, it should take you to our partner page where you can get more information. All right, on to Ignition 8.3. Is it out? No.
We're all waiting breath, but they told me don't hold your breath.
Right. We felt we had to give everybody an update on 8.3, the much anticipated new version of Ignition 8.3. It is still in early access. It is not in beta yet. We do expect it to move over to beta any day. It's imminent, but it is currently still in early access. If you haven't been around, if you're living under a rock, or you haven't joined us for any of the updates about Ignition 8.3, probably the most prolific and significant update that inductive automation has released. Much anticipated 8.3. There's a couple of new things. There is a brand new historian and API module, which is a high performance time series database, completely new drawing tools, You guys must have loved some of the piping that we had to do in perspectives. There's brand new tools. Really exciting. Event streams. This is quite a significant new module which will allow you to essentially ingest vast amounts of event driven data, either transform them or pass them on into what we call handlers, which could be anything, other databases, APIs, tags. This is really exciting. This will move data handling inside of Ignition outside of the traditional polling that we've had with OPC UA. So that's quite exciting. New forms component, a brand new forms component with lots of new additions that could be done on manual data entry and capturing, working on, for the first time ever, is perspective offline mode. That is also a much anticipated new feature.
That's going to be very nice.
Yeah.
But it's to capture data when you're not connected to the server. I think that's going to be a bit of a game changer.
Yeah. We're really excited about that one. And then, of course, Siemens S7 Plus update, symbolic addressing. That's been asked for quite frequently as well. That's quite a big update. And then, of course, Twilio Voice and WhatsApp. And this adds to the functionality that we currently have to interact with Teams, Slack, Telegram. There will be a native WhatsApp and Twilio Voice module added as well. A brand new gateway UI that looks a lot more intuitive than the current layout and design of the gateway UI.
Common things are all in one place.
Yeah, makes more sense.
Which makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, simplified layouts and things like that. New deployment methods or deployment modes. Yeah, you can either deploy a specific project in a gateway as a dev, as a sandbox Q&A, or as a live production application.
Once you deploy it out in those environments, it'll automatically understand that if you're doing it in a dev mode, you might be connecting to simulation rather than to live PLCs.
Yeah,
and it'll understand how to do that. So you won't be connecting to your live plant necessarily in deployment or your live databases. It'll connect to the dev environment.
Yeah. That's going to be really nice. Where right now you've got to manage that typically with maybe Docker containers or multiple VMs and things like that. So there's a couple of highlights of 8.3. If you'd like to get more detail or a full view, we have a whole host of videos and recordings and live events recordings that we've done on 8.3. There's a lot to get into. Right now, still in early access. We do expect the beta to go live any day. It's imminent, like we said. But that's the update that we have on 8.3 right now. It will definitely be in time for the ICC. The ICC is, of course, Induct Automation's community conference, annual community conference. That is, for the first time ever, not in Folsom, but in Sacramento this year. Induct have had to move the ICC to a larger venue just to accommodate the number of people, so they don't have to turn anybody away. We will be there. Suspect you guys may be there as well.
Yeah, we're all planning to attend.
Oh, fantastic.
That is a progress.
Lovely. Yeah. We can paint Sacramento red. So that will be in September. If you are interested to join in person in California, do let us know. We can help you with arranging that. Otherwise, there's also a live stream ticket that you could purchase. But really exciting for us about the ICC this year is the involvement of the Prove It crowd, if I can call it that. So if you're familiar with Walker Reynolds and Industry 4.0 and the good work that they're doing there with just really educating about the unified namespace and the interoperability between systems and platforms and the new way of doing things, the Prove It conference was hugely successful earlier this year. And 17 of those Prove It sessions are coming to ICC live, showcasing the work done around Ignition, the unified namespace, together with the Prove It virtual factory. So that's really cool. That was announced literally a week ago, I think.
Yeah.
Just like a week ago. So the ICC is definitely something to look forward to in September. All right, Canary. Over the past 2 months, not only was version 25 released, we were already on version 25.3. So a lot of new updates from the Canary team. They've done some really good work. Some of the updates with 25 was the built-in reverse proxy and Axiom, support for MS SQL connections with integrator security, improved historian validation performance, and a fair amount of bug fixes in admin, Axiom, collectors, historian, across the board.
Yeah, just general robustness around a couple of things. There were some nice little features that have been put in, like they put a tag count onto the store and forward tile. They've improved the formatting of values inside of Axiom, the padding and those kinds of things, which is really just nice, small little things that make a huge difference to the presentation of the software.
Fantastic. If naturally similar to inductive automation with Ignition, if you do have an active and current customer care agreement with Canary, you can upgrade for free right now. It is available, so we would highly recommend checking out version 25.3, the latest version.
I would strongly recommend you contact the support team when you're going to upgrade, or give them a couple of days heads up, and the customer success team can walk you through that upgrade.
Yeah, definitely. Version 25 was started with 24, really was quite a significant rewrite in many ways.
Yeah.
So the upgrade, there are some considerations with the upgrade. So yeah, please do contact Laura and the customer success team if you're looking to upgrade to version 25. Over and above the good work that the Canary team has done around just updating and upgrading, they've also produced a fairly large volume of new videos that's on YouTube. Some really, really amazing new series of videos. You can see it on the screen here. There's an entire new Getting Started series on YouTube with Canary, really elementary, starting with considering things like architectures, installs, build, client app install. There's a whole new series on Axiom, how to use Axiom charts, as well as a brand new, fairly recent Canary admin series, helping administrators find their way around some of the configuration and maintenance of the Canary admin server. So really nice videos. We'd recommend that as a starting point if you're looking to learn more about Canary. It's not very long videos. It's a couple of minutes each, but really insightful and valuable. It's always good to start there before you join us for training. Obviously, that's also available, but we do recommend checking out the 3 new learning series on Canary's channel on YouTube. It's really, really nice new videos.
Beautiful.
Team spent a lot of time preparing those. Also, the Canary User Conference, the first time, celebrating not only Canary's 40th year of existence. It's hard to believe they've been around for 40 years. So it's also the 40-year celebration, but also the first ever user conference, which is amazing. In 40 years, they hadn't had one. So that will be early August, second week of August at State College in Pennsylvania. We'll be there. Not sure if you guys will be there for this one, but we will definitely be there. A couple of things to look forward to. There's 3 full days. There's an entire day of training, but there will also be a sneak peek on some of the batch functionality and golden batch functionality reporting that's being included with the next release of Canary.
Yep, I think that's going to be a very nice addition to the Canary. All right, it's a nice feature to have.
Yeah, definitely, especially the golden batch comparisons.
Yeah, and I think there's also some nice customer success stories from what I've seen on the agenda.
Yeah, I think they're live streaming as well. Not mistaken.
Okay,
I'm not sure. I don't say we need to verify that. But 2 really good learning opportunities coming up. That is US based, but nonetheless, if there's live streaming, it would be valuable to join. I did include the little, is it Linux or Linux? How do we pronounce it? It's a little penguin there. We're really excited. We received confirmation that there will be a Linux version of Canary, late fall in US terms, which is kind of late October, November timeframe. Possibly early next year. We know the software releases are never guaranteed, but it is in development, and the team is working really hard to be able to showcase that at the conference in August, or at least the early version of it. And I think the ability to run Canary on Linux will obviously, from a performance and maintainability point of view, that's also highly anticipated, the ability to run on Linux. That's it with Canary. Anything else I can do? It's been so much over the last 2 months. What been a while, missed it. Okay.
Not right now.
You may have received an email already. We have started sending out a couple of notifications around our new training offer. So we're calling it Enable. Essentially what it is, if you're an existing customer, an existing Ignition and Canary customer, or if you hopefully will become a customer soon, join the community fairly soon, we are offering a free complimentary and free, it's the same thing, a training seat with every license. It does apply to standard Ignition with a module. Unfortunately, it does not apply to Ignition Edge, definitely not to Maker Edition. But we do include a free training seat to our Ignition core training, and similarly with Canary, with the purchase of a Canary license, a free seat to the 2-day Canary training course. We do believe in the power of enablement. We're not entirely sure if the cost of training is a barrier. I'm guessing that it is for a lot of people. And although we have amazing online resources available for both Ignition through inductive automation and Canary through the Canary Academy, we want to make sure that we get some FaceTime or live training in as well. So to help with that and really just to empower your teams, or at least a person in your team, starting from the 1st of June, this is already live. So every new license that we sell, you will be eligible for a free training seat. So check out the training calendar, which is that little QR code at the bottom right-hand side. And naturally, it doesn't apply to just new licenses, every customer. So we will be starting a reach out campaign over the next couple of days, making sure that everybody's aware. We do anticipate that the courses we do have available right now for the remainder of this year will fill up fairly quickly. So if you do want to take advantage of this offer, please reach out to us at training@element8.co.za or go to the training page and make contact with us there to make sure you are in line to take advantage of the free training. Laura and Captain of Success team is going to be busy with training. And let us know what you think about that. If that's valuable, if you find that it's valuable, if that will make a difference to help get more people into classroom training. We do really believe in that. And then just a final update before we get to speak to the clever guys in the room. Our Elevate Tour 2025 venues and dates are confirmed. We had a great time last year with our community in the Western Cape and up here in Centurion and Gauteng. We've added Umhlanga, KZN to the tour as well. And maybe we can do another one. I'm going to try and see if we can do another one. I'd love to visit the Eastern Cape. We haven't taken the Elevate tour to the Eastern Cape yet. Places like Rustenburg, Katu, there's so many venues and locations we can go to. But right now, this is what is confirmed the 21st of October. We are in Stellenbosch. 22nd of October, the following day, we are in KZN. And 24th of October, we are at Irene Country Lodge in Centurion. It will be much of the same as what we did last year, but we really want to double down on the stories and the experiences. So real voices, real experiences, hearing more about what people have done, what they've built, why they did it the way that they did. We find that that's usually the most valuable interaction from these events. And so put it on your calendar. If you are in any of those locations, we will be sending out the save the date emails fairly soon, I think, Andrew.
Yes. Now you are.
Well, fantastic. So do put that in your calendar. We look forward to meeting you down in those cities and engaging and just having great conversations. All right. Anything that we missed as far as updates, news, anything important that we've missed? I think we've covered all the bases. Nah. All right. That was really quick, 20 minutes. We wanted it to be quicker. We really want to spend time with Jack and Craig and see what they've done. But gentlemen, maybe I'll hand it over to you guys to give us an introduction to yourselves, your business, and we'll take it from there.
Okay, perfect. So, firstly, thanks, guys, for inviting us out. I think the exposure for us as a small team is amazing. So Concera was started, we're almost 3 years old now, started by myself and Rolf Boshoff. Previously, we've both worked as system integrators for about 15 years at hired from, and then rock automation. So we do have a long history of doing projects in this kind of space. And then very shortly after that, we managed to convince Jacques to come and join us.
Took a lot of convincing.
Yeah, there were a bit of issues there, but we got him eventually.
Did you promise some flexi hours?
No comments, eh? So that was almost 2 years ago now, and we've now got a junior engineer, Stefan, on board as well, and another junior started the other day, just after these photos were taken. So we're growing, and what we're really looking to do is to provide the best solutions that we can to our customers, but not be tied to a particular OEM. So as you know, various customers have their preferred solutions, and we try to provide the best solution we can with those. Obviously, we will suggest the ones we prefer, which is why we're here. But that's really, where we started and where we're trying to get to.
Okay, fantastic. And as a small team, the focus would be on really specialized type applications, niche builds, that kind of as opposed to a massive turnkey type, all-in-one type solution.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, if someone came to us with a turnkey, we'd examine it. But we recognize we're a small team, so we need to provide value in the best place that we can. And that is usually when we're using the experience that we've got to do that. So that's where the project we're about to show you has come from.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you. Great. Luan, any questions so far?
No questions so far. Okay, the QR code link didn't work. It gets a page error.
Oh, damn it. Okay. All right. We'll try. I think we'll share the links in the email with the recording after.
Okay.
And we'll just do both. Yeah. Thank you for that. Who told us about that?
Say that now it's George Stradom.
George, veilig in jou maxi spaar. Thank you for highlighting that, George. We'll send you something. All right, so let's talk about the project. So it was for Sibanye-Stillwater, at least the Rustenburg Platinum area. And the overview that we have here is that it was to develop we talk TOAs in our industry. We often fall into the trap where we talk about 3-letter acronyms and lots of acronyms as well. And now there's 4 and 5-letter acronyms. But the requirement was to develop an abnormal situation management, or what we call ASM SCADA platform, to replace the legacy system, essentially, that was in place there. Maybe give us just the overview of what that requirement was, if that's okay.
Yeah, 100%. So they had legacy systems in place, and of course, with legacy systems in place, it depended on legacy OS, and that of course created risks, security risks, as well as risks of maintaining the system if it falls over, that type of thing. But apart just from going to a trusted technology or a newer technology, there was also extra benefits that could be seen from going to a system like Ignition. It's not just replacing the current SCADA system that they've got, but also putting something in place which is scalable, which is adaptable, as well as making it easy for future technicians and so on to learn the system and use the system, that type of thing.
So apart from addressing the current risk, if I can call it that, and constraints, it was also a forward-looking view in terms of something that's more future fit and expandable.
Yeah, future, 100%.
Yeah, and I think what definitely adds to this, coming out of the industry myself, as well as with my colleagues, with their experience with clients, you don't just want to provide a solution, but you want to provide that little bit extra, because that's what enables guys in the future to take the system just to the next level.
Okay, perfect. Modernization type of approach.
Yes.
Yeah, what's nice to you is that it wasn't simply a case of let's rip and replace.
Yeah.
Yes. Ooh, that's horrible. It sounds painful saying that. Saying that sounds painful.
Yeah, it's painful to do those projects as well.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm really glad that wasn't the approach. It's the sensible way not to do it.
Yeah.
So some of the scope that we have here, so there's shafts, various compressors and compressor areas or houses, various utility areas that was included. And it was really to provide this efficient system overview and operation of all of those areas and provide that data essentially to anywhere, from anywhere, as a view from multiple locations.
Yeah, I think the nature of this particular site, so a lot of these sites that you mentioned are so geographically dispersed that trying to fit everything into a traditional single server model is just never going to work.
Yeah.
So we managed to use a lot of we'll get to it when we get to the architecture, a lot of the Ignition products to build that in a way that, everything works wherever it is, but you can see everything from anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was the real value at that.
Also, I just want to add the nature of the beast, especially with the guys at the air compressor section. Those guys are on the road, on the way to a compressor, and now you enable them to not just rely on what you hear from a central control room, but the possibility exists to expose your SCADA to a handheld unit so the guys on the road, while busy, can see what's going on at a different section.
Yeah, that just the visibility of and having access to that data is such a significant, just having that awareness is such a significant enabler, being blind to whatever the data is that you need to do your job. Having access to that data from wherever you are is a massive enabler. So some of the problems you had to solve was we spoke about the cumbersome and features really that was lacking through some of the prior systems that we're using. It was difficult to manage and maintain because of the complexity, infrastructure, and time perspectives. And then the various sites also had different standards, making cross-usage of operators and cross-usage for operators and technicians difficult. So that's typical what you have with a legacy system that's been in place for a very long time. Some of the requirements you've already spoken about is a simple interface, universal interface. I do want to ask about some of it mentions here a cost-effective solution that needed to be implemented rapidly. So we're going to get to the challenges, but you'll see at the bottom right-hand side, you'll see on your screens, at least if you're joining us, you'll see a project start date of October 2024 and an end date of December, not 2025, also 2024. And I know those things have a kind of variable end date, but in this case, there was a fairly hard target on the end date.
Yeah, and we had a few sleepless nights, almost 3 months. The challenge was to get all the bulk of the development done and everything rolled out on site within the customer's financial year. Obviously, we spent a little bit of time after that tweaking things, but there were a few long days.
So you faced down for Christmas with the family.
It was a little bit closer.
It was George Flexi time.
Oh yeah, no, and as well as regressing airlines during that time. It's about this.
When did tell you the Flexi time is from 12 to 12?
We have a question here.
Yeah.
Did costing play a role in the decision of system upgrades?
So was the cost, and I would imagine the overall cost from a licensing, from an engineering, as well as a longer term total cost of ownership, all of those things are costs that need to be considered.
So there was an in-depth cost analysis that the team at Sibanye did with other technologies before we introduced this. And of course, then we put our head in the ring and we tried to show them that you can actually save a little bit more, and not just with direct costs, with the financial, excuse me, the financial commitment that you have to make, but also the indirect costs that's associated with it. I mean, if you get to disaster recovery type system, how long does it take to implement or to do a disaster recovery? On current systems, it might be in the duration of a day and a half, sometimes 2 days, especially due to some constraints that you might get. The big thing is what we could show them, apart just from the direct financial savings that you can get, also the uptime that you can get with the system, the real redundancy that you have between the gateways all of that added
Stuff
up.
that's not necessarily directly measurable or you're able to understand the cost of, but they get a long term.
Yeah, it's usually something that only your specialist teams know, the guys who work behind the scenes. And
I'm really disappointed we didn't include the iceberg view now. I saw it this morning, but you guys had a very nice way of, you had a visual where you showed the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the total cost of ownership. So there was a really nice way of visual way of explaining it. Yeah.
Sure.
So outside of the development timeline, which was obviously a very, very tight timeline, we mentioned the multiple and different PLC standards. There was also a requirement to maintain a similar look and feel, which is obviously quite, from a familiarity point of view, that's quite important. Familiarity is a very, very strong driver of things. And then I don't think we're going to look at it today. You're going to show us that today, but there was also a very specialized search curve graph which you had to develop that was quite critical for the compressor maintenance and operation, which was probably mathematically quite tricky.
Yeah, that big jump at it. It was a bit of a challenge to work on about.
All right. And I know everybody's probably quite excited to kind of look at some of the stuff that you've developed, but maybe just as a recap of the results. So it is still ongoing, but essentially what you delivered was a high performance ASM, abnormal situational management SCADA, that is simpler to maintain, requires fewer computing resources. I guess we're going to cover a little bit of that when we look at the architecture, and allows access to a broader range of people to the application. The unlimited license model. So if you're not familiar with the unlimited, what we call the unlimited licensing model, typically within Ignition, if you go with that package, you are not limited in terms of clients, tags, designers, number of device connections. All of those aspects are unlimited, which if it's a fairly large application rollout like this is, then it's quite valuable to have that. We did speak a little bit about the total cost of ownership. So the annual support costs has significantly decreased as well. We did mention the new IT policies that can now finally be applied. I suppose when you're trying to maintain a good security posture, it's quite important to be able to implement those security updates. And then very excitingly, which I think is where the ongoing is coming in, is that some of the benefits that we realized was outside of just visualization. And now there's some other functional areas that we're looking to implement as well.
Yep.
Okay, fantastic. Well done. Lovely.
Thanks, love.
Let's have a look at the architecture. So this is an interesting one. I don't know if this is enterprise with redundancy, hub and spoke. It's a bit of everything. It's a bit of an everything kind of architecture, but maybe talk us through it.
Okay, so like I mentioned before, a lot of these areas that we needed to gather data from and provide views to were very heavily geographically dispersed. So what we decided to do is, you can see on the top there, we've got a bunch of edges. So those are used in the compressor houses. So those are generally out in the middle of nowhere. They need to work if the network's down. So that's why we used an edge there with a tag provider there, and it provides the views if you happen to be there.
So the Ignition Edge is a lightweight, watered down version of Ignition that's still unlimited in certain ways, but it is limited to how long you can keep data for.
Yeah.
And it is limited to the number of views that you have. So really for edge of network type applications where you don't necessarily want to store the data there for a long time, but have a local view if you need it. The edge is a good client to have there.
Yeah. So then what we did with those as well is, you'll see there is linked to a main gateway. So what we did is we found a method to heat the project in that top gateway and push it down to the edges, but the edges only then see the pages that they need to see. And then we gather all the data through remote tab providers into that one gateway. And that's sort of They're using MQTT or OPC? Those ones we use in the gateway network. So they're remote tab providers to the edges.
So it's gateway to gateway.
Yeah, it's gateway to gateway for those.
And this little orange server there, or node that we have here, indicates where the redundancy is on the Ignition side.
Yes, so we did put full redundancy on those gateways. We've also got OS redundancy, which is quite nice. So the one is on Windows, one's on Linux, just in case. You never know these days.
Gives you that ability
Yeah.
to deal with those and Linux. Yeah.
So no, that was great. Yeah, and then moving on to the other main gateways, those are on the various shafts. So that's where you've got a lot higher concentration of data. The control rooms are there. So for each shaft, the guys in the control room, they only have a 2 perspective license. So that's for the 2 screens in the control room.
Okay.
Idea being is that's a cost saving. If the whole network goes down, you can still run your shaft by itself. You've got your 2 views. But what we did then as well to make life more interesting and to give us a bit more features was we pushed all 4 of those gateway projects up to a central hub, which is the one down in the bottom. And then that one has an unlimited view. So then all the other screens in the control rooms can just connect there and see all the same data. As well as that, you'll see there's a firewall there. So that's other gateway sitting on the IT side. That way all the managers in their offices, wherever they happen to be, if they really want to, they can connect to the SCADA as well.
But there's a clearly defined security separation.
Yeah, there's a clearly defined, only certain ports are open. We started with everything off and open up as we needed to make sure that's as secure as we can get it.
I just want to add something on the redundancy and feedback that I actually got just this week from the client itself. They had planned downtime and they had to shut down the one system. And while viewing the SCADA in the control room, they could actually see that while you're viewing it at the right bottom corner, it just popped up. It said, thrown over to backup system. It was like a 10, 15 second type thing.
Yeah.
It went over to the new SCADA. It started up and
As soon as it
running.
lost it, it's reaching.
And it's always nice talking about it, but I mean, it's nice actually seeing it live.
Unless it's planned, you never want to see it.
But it's just, that's why you don't see it. But it's nice to hear that it actually worked in a real environment. So often we sit and we test these things in our little ivory towers. We test the redundancy. We say, it works. Great. Until the day that you actually need it. So it doesn't.
Yeah.
Redundancy is really valuable for upgrades. If you need to update or upgrade, really valuable.
And also just on the views with the unlimited views on the hub section and how IT opened it up. So, I mean, even if you've got limited views inside of your engineering space, you still have the availability of your unlimited views on the central hub space. So you can still have unlimited views within your engineering environment.
Yeah.
On all your different SCADA.
You'll always have that unlimited.
Yeah.
And we did that just as a cost saving. We put 2 clients everywhere and put one unlimited and take advantage of the unlimited nature.
And then in these gateway instances, you've got a Postgre SQL running for, I would imagine, not really for long-term data store.
Yeah, so that's just running the ignition tag historian. The idea behind that is we push everything in there. That's your production, your daily reports, bulk finding, all that kind of thing. And then all the data that you want to keep long-term
goes to
push up to the canary in the top.
Okay.
Again, as a cost saving and just efficiently using the modules that we have to use.
Yeah.
It's also a lessons learned sort of thing because I mean, using Postgre as opposed to your traditional other SQL service, which has a financial investment that you have to maintain every single year.
Yeah.
And
you're referring to Microsoft.
Yes. But also not using SQLite because SQLite is definitely nice for smaller applications, but you are limited to the amount of access to that database, and Postgre opens that up again.
Yeah, definitely. And once you start getting onto the paper side of the licensing, the CAL type views, then it could be quite expensive.
Yes.
Is it CVU based? Is it number of clients? It could become quite.
But it's also painful to manage.
Yeah.
Postgre, you install it and off you go.
Yeah. And then that long-term data store is Canary. And sort of how many tags or what sort of historization do you have there?
So on Canary, I think the last time we looked at it, was sitting somewhere around 8,000 tags at the moment.
Okay.
It's a 15,000 license, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but again, like you said, we're not pushing absolutely everything out there. So there's way more
Aggregated type values.
and just important stuff. Right. And
If you look at it on the engineering type system, all of those combined is close to about 500,000 tags type thing. But I mean, but everything's open on the tag is store inside, even if not everything, not all
log all of that.
Yeah, not all the tags are logged, but there's definitely more tags that's logged on the tag is stored and placed on at each gateway.
Okay.
And it's only the more, you'd say, important reporting type tags and so on that's logged on this side.
So we got 3 minutes to go. I do want to make sure we look at the application. Just 2 final questions here. We I know mobile view was mentioned at some point. Was that designed for, built for? Not yet.
So we have built our standard to cater for it. So all our views, or the main view that we use, and we'll get to how we do that
That's
later.
why the vision app.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we do have the initial view as a breakpoint. So we can change it to look at, obviously to the mobile views, but the focus of this project was just the main screens, but we did add the capability. So later on, we can do a mobile without reinventing the wheel.
At least designed for that in mind.
Yes.
It's tested. And then in terms of other system interoperability, I see there's some connection connections. What are we interfacing with on areas?
So they've got about 50 odd Allen Bradley PLCs here.
Okay.
Some of them there are a few different PLC standards. So we had to develop templates and UDTs for those. But what we did is we tried to make it such that when the operator is interacting with those objects, he doesn't really know which one it is.
Okay.
Tried to make it almost exactly the same.
Okay. Well done.
So that was
Cool.
good.
I'm going to stop sharing here while you get ready on your side. Hey, give me other questions.
Yeah, we've got 4 questions here.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So the first one is by Nervin. How did the customer decide on Ignition's edition rather than InTouch, WinCC, Droid, or other SCADA systems?
Sure. Should I take a stab at that? So, we have known the guys at Sibanye for quite some time, and we've done a few of those systems ourselves, and they have, like you mentioned, they had one of those already. And we really went in and showed them that if we go to an Ignition system, that first of all, cost is always huge. So we've touched on that earlier. But the nature of the behind the scenes costs that they would save on, so particularly for the guys who are developing it and the guys who are managing it, but small things like the live development views, the free, well, not free, but unlimited licensing costs on the clients. And another major thing in my mind is that with traditional SCADA systems, you need a lot of software installed in a lot of places. If anything goes a little bit out of kilter, then things fall over. So because Perspective runs in a web browser, if you want it to, that really reduces the amount of software we need installed everywhere. And
Very small footprint. Zero footprint.
yeah. And, when it comes to things like disaster recoveries and, that's a significant time, and then, time is money.
Thank you. So maybe, Nervin, to summarize, there was a commercial aspect, there was a performance aspect, as well as extensibility or extendability? I'm never sure what the word is. The ability to do more outside of just the traditional SCADA.
But I think you can also summarize it into, you can say, rapid rollouts.
Yes.
Because, like I said, it's browser based. It's a quick installation if you want to use the Perspective workstation, or if you don't, you just use your browser, that type of thing. And I mean, they've got a team of specialists who need to not only look at this system, but they're looking at systems worldwide. So yeah, it's saving them time.
I think if you've ever designed inside of Ignition design and Perspective, you would know that if you once you press that save button, that's live. It's instant, which is quite nice to see, and it saves some making coffee time. Mervyn, yeah, I hope that answers your question. Leon, I see there's also Anonymous. Anonymous asked, what IT hardware are you running the system on? So I would imagine kind of brand of servers and VMs.
Yeah, so all the gateways are running on Stratus Edge 250s, I think they are.
Yeah, ZTC 50, yeah.
Stratus, lovely.
So all redundancy there as well.
Yeah. So fairly good, not only hardware redundancy, but also software redundancy.
Yeah, it's Stratus on them, and then as well as some of the infrastructure they already had in place.
So the edges are the machine that they had in beforehand, but we put Stratus in on all the gateways.
Okay. Also, Anonymous, would management monitoring be a view only or control as well? I suppose it could be both, but what did you guys do in your case?
So the security we did here is all done through the client's Active Directory. So it's based on the group that the management individual is in. If they put him in a role where he is allowed to change, he can.
Because that could be defined not only per user group, but user. And you can take that down to a tag level.
We have that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you can. I'll show you that later.
Well, I'm going to get to the two questions before we run out of time of you actually showing us what some of the visual looks like. I think the server hardware platform, Windows or Linux, we just heard that it's both. So that was also from Anonymous. Thank you. And then the choice between Postgres rather than MariaDB.
To be perfectly honest, Rolf made that decision.
Okay, so Sam, you need to speak to Rolf.
Rolf, can you answer that in the chat for us, please?
It was basically a discussion because I did an online course a few years ago, and it covered Postgres as well as SQL, and I saw some benefits. And
yeah, we do see both. We see all three. We see a lot of Microsoft and the variants of Microsoft, and we see both a lot of the other two as well. Correct. Thank you.
Excellent. So should I just
good question. Thank you, Sam.
Let's do that. This is little that everyone can see it. Okay.
I'm going to just make sure that we can see it over here as well.
Okay.
Here we go.
There we go. Okay, perfect. So this is a demo version of the application that they have on site. Obviously, we don't want to show their sites and their IP and whatnot.
Understandable. Yes.
You know, the bulk of it is very similar. So, like we mentioned earlier, we went with an ASM SCADA. The idea being that only the abnormal situations jump out at you.
So just maybe to explain that, drawing attention to something that needs attention.
It needs attention, yes.
Okay.
So as you can see on this page, there's a lot of gray and a lot of white. We went with the approach gray being off, white being on, but neither of those are potentially an issue. And then when there is some sort of scenario that the operator needs to react to, then we start introducing color. So as we can see here already, there's a little bit of color here. So this motor in particular happens to have a drive interlock.
Ooh, I like that. And there's no pop-ups.
Yeah. So leading on to that, the idea was to not ever take away the view of the operator of this site.
Always have a full view.
Always have a full view.
But still have the drill down capability.
Yeah. So we put all the traditional pop-up content down here in the bottom. So you've got a control pane in the middle with all your buttons and stops and starts and whatnot. All the various information on the left of depending on what it is you've clicked on. Got a little alarm window as well, and even a little trend. Now, this one's not the most interesting trend, but that's a little trend there that we've got for the guys.
Lovely.
You know what's nice about that is that it's not more than 2 or 3 mouse clicks to get to where you need to be where you need to be. And that is so important. You know, with anything, if you're browsing a web page and I've got to click, 10 clicks later, I've lost interest.
Yeah.
This is one click and I've got the major information in front of me directly. And
Well, never saving a sight of the overall process.
and I don't lose sight of what's going on.
Yeah.
That's so important.
Because those pop-ups are usually distracting in those things that it removes you from the overview.
And it lines what may be opened.
Yeah, and leading on from that, I know there's probably some guys thinking, sometimes it's useful to have two pop-ups open. And maybe you want to watch something while you change something else.
Yeah.
So what we did to get around that was you can right click on your icons, add it to the dock, and then you get a little thingy on the side there to show you is whatever it is you docked there.
And
So
it's,
then you-
That's fantastic.
So then you can watch that
and it's live, and it's real.
live data.
And especially when sequences are starting and things like that, it's really nice.
Yeah.
And so there's certain values and labels that you can dock on the right hand side to always see what
Yeah.
the effect may be of a dependent action or a.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
If you need to.
And a nice thing, even if you dock some objects from this window and you move to a different window,
Stays there if you want.
it still stays docked. So you can either clear it or you can just minimize and add extra variables if you need those. Yes.
That's really nuts.
So I'm trying to drive using the sorry. Okay. And then something else that we did is we've got now the pages for not the pages, but if we like navigate to the window, you'll see you've got a faceplate at the bottom for that area. So in a lot of traditional skaters, you've got all this extra info twittering the page that you don't necessarily need to look at all the time.
Just because you can put everything on the page doesn't mean you should.
Doesn't mean you should, yeah. And a typical example in this case with a conveyor is your totalizer values, your days. And so by using that bottom faceplate, we can get rid of a lot of that data that they sometimes use, but don't always use, and still give it to them, but it doesn't clutter up all the pages.
But still have the shift in the daily performance.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So
Loaded. Very nice.
So then another key thing for us here, and Rolf spent a lot of time on this, so I have to mention it for him, is our tree on the left.
You can pay Craig later.
Yeah. So this tree on the left is it's built from our tag provider. So it automatically builds this for us. We don't need to go and do it.
It was designed that way.
It was designed to do that, yeah. It is both your navigation. So at the moment we're on the bank, we click here, there's our vent fan. And what it also does is our alarming. That's where the real clever stuff comes in. So I'm going to use this instrument as a example. And I'm just going to put it in simulate. And you'll see now it's in simulate and we've got some blue going on the skater because we know there's a problem there. Little tooltip.
That's amazing.
Yeah, just to give the guys some extra features, and we're going to put it into an alarm state. So you see here now we've got our alarm on the bottom right. You'll see the border goes purple on the object, so it's drawing your eye to that object. There is an issue there. As well as that, we have our alarm counters on the top, and you'll see here in the tree, you've got a navigation to go and find where that issue came from.
Breadcrumb.
Breadcrumb to follow the way. Typically, it would be all you would have is at the bottom right hand side. Typically,
yeah. Or you'd have to go and find it in an alarm page.
It might be in the bottom, it might be in your alarm banner, but you've got to go and do a lot of.
So you can follow the breadcrumbs, and that's
really nice. Yeah.
very, very.
And if we cause, I'm going to cause another. Sorry, I'll keep driving on there, and was a struggle. So I'm going to cause another alarm somewhere else with a different priority. So we've built in 4 priorities, which you can change from the faceplate if you've got the right access. I'm an admin here, so I'm allowed to cause chaos. Sorry, I clicked the wrong thing there. So if we go and cause an alarm here, so this is a different priority. So you'll see that one's red instead of purple. But if you follow our tree here, you see now the red breadcrumbs goes up to the top, and it inherently shows the color of whatever the highest priority is in that area,
And
along with an alarm count.
And you've also used different shapes
Yeah,
as opposed to
Just cover.
just a color, just an extra way of differentiating everything.
lovely.
And like we said, this all builds itself from the tree, from the tag provider. Sorry.
Well done, Rolf.
That's
So
that's beautiful.
had a few sleepless nights with that one. And then, something else to mention on the tree is if we're, say, on this page and we want to see what's causing an alarm on their bank, driving there, you can see here it's appeared in our tree. It's our PT101. You can click that and we get the faceplate in the bottom for the object that's on the other side, on the other page, if we don't want to leave. We're busy with something here. We can quickly click on it, see what the problem is, reset it, and carry on without actually having to navigate it. There's a whole bunch of other features in like filters and searches and whatnot in here as well. I won't go into that too much, but there's ways of filtering everything in there.
But in essence, you can decide what you want to see in your tree at a specific point in time.
Yes.
Especially for somebody that needs to do fault finding, they want to go to a specific instrument, they can go and search it. It will show.
See there, we've got everything.
Yes.
That's everything. Every control module on that page is there now. If you don't want it, you just...
Now it only shows the one that's in alarm. Yes.
Yeah. So as far as an ASM design goes, geez, definitely ticks all the boxes, but over and above, just also the fault finding, the ability to understand, without having to really try and dig and search. You just follow the breadcrumb. What is did you focus on any kind of advanced alarming notifications? Is it all inside of SCADA at the moment, or you rely on notifications?
For the time being, it's still in the SCADA. We do, though, have plans to integrate that. Currently, I think it's just going into SMS, but with 8.3, we've got a few more options there, and we'll definitely be looking at doing
There's the plans in the pipeline at the moment, yes.
Yeah. WhatsApp could be, what I like about the WhatsApp view is that, or integration, is that it allows for some collaboration. Where an SMS or an email or even Teams, it allows for not only the view of an alarm within a group environment, but also the ability to discuss that specific alarming question as a group to decide what the next action is going to be, which is so much more intuitive than an SMS or an email. Yeah. So WhatsApp is quite popular in South Africa, so I'm guessing the WhatsApp will be a nice add-in.
For sure. Sorry, I just remembered one other thing, because someone mentioned security earlier. So what we've got on every control module, you'll see there's a little tab hidden in the corner here. So, and this is per instance. So this is the security for this instrument. So if we change it here, it doesn't change for every single instrument. And we can go and define these are the 4 levels that we've built in. We can go and define what are those individual people allowed to do.
Are those defined inside of Ignition or inside of Active Directory?
They are, I believe they're defined in Ignition, but they're linked to Active Directory roles. Okay. But we can go and then change for this instrument what they're allowed to do, which we found in certain places. You want, for example, say a mill, you want the operator to start that with a sequence. So you don't want the start button available to the operator on the mill motor itself. And by doing this instance level security, you give the customer that kind of flexibility to really define what does he want to
different.
Another good example on the compressor side. I mean, those are big pieces of equipment with a lot of risk when you go and set up that and do your search codes and so on. So you might not even want to give anybody inside of your sites access to it, but only to your OEM who comes out and needs to do that. Then you lock that specific or specific controls only to OEM.
Yeah,
for sure.
So very focused on real-time operator fault finding uptime. Is there view on focusing more on the historical data, long-term trends reporting? Is that something that you're busy working on?
That's currently in progress at the moment. We do have a couple of production reports available on site, the typicals that they use. But there is definitely a planning or in the pipeline to start building out those Axiom reports for the management level guys and more production reports for the guys on site.
Yeah, that's actually already and the guys are using it at the moment. Yeah,
fantastic. And the repeatability or the I can never say that word. You say so nicely. Not repeatability, the copy and paste,
you are. I don't know, but how easy is it to roll this out to more sites?
So So obviously we need to create CMs for the particular site. Chooses a way we quite believe in that. Yes. And there's no way around that. We made a few tools to not do it ourselves, everything ourselves, but because of the way we've set up this tree and the tag provider,
You could repurpose
we
it.
can repurpose that quite easily. And because we don't have to spend all these hours linking navigation buttons left, right, and center, it's fairly straightforward to.
So I think one of the nice things that you mentioned is the fact that the look and feel is always the same, regardless of the standards that are being used.
Yeah.
And that's so important because from a cross-training perspective or from a center of excellence perspective, it's one standard that you're looking at.
Yeah.
And it all behaves in the same fashion.
Yeah.
That's something I didn't mention. The way we achieve that is we've used inherited projects within Ignition. So our ASM styles and the basic icons and whatnot in one project, inherited down to the PLC standards. All of that's embedded in the ones we want. So that's why, again, we're taking advantage of, we change something in one place and it ripples through all the standards.
The big advantage is like you have one gateway hosting the ASM standards,
Yes.
PLC standards, and if you have other PLC standards that should ever be added, then you can just go and add them. But you could link all of your other gateways to that gateway. You can inherit those projects, and it makes future development so much quicker. That's the thing.
Yeah, we didn't mention that. We've got EAM running in all our gateways, pushing things where they need to go.
And then just again on the navigation side, everything, yes, built to what's it, the S95, S88 type structure, which also then goes through to even when you go and look at your trending, then you still have that type of view.
Hierarchical view, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they're really nice.
EAM, that is another one of those 3-letter acronyms, is Enterprise Administration Module. As you mentioned, it gives you the ability to do things like that. Not only remote backup and restore, but also dictate where certain things go
Essentially manage your entire
from a single gateway.
system, all of those gateways from a single gateway.
Yeah, including all the edges.
Yeah.
Yes, which is phenomenal. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I can answer the next question. My next question was from Laura, who said, "Aren't you guys just the coolest?" Oh, yes, Laura, definitely they are.
Try.
We've had a snippet of the application, and very, very, very well done. I think it certainly from an ASM perspective ticks all the boxes, and the way that the design was done, it definitely is the foundation for whatever else you want to build on top. The mobile, I think, would be a good view. Very happy that you did that with mobile in mind, because it's very often it's not the case.
Yeah.
And to kind of retrofit that afterwards based on what you've designed is always quite difficult.
Yeah.
But amazing. Well done. Thank you for sharing. Any questions for Jacques and Craig? Any other questions? I didn't see anything. We are out of time. We, in fact, a couple of minutes full already. Nope.
Honestly, golden.
Either means we did really well or really poorly.
We did have some good questions around design. I think, yeah, if there's no other questions, Craig, thank you very much.
Stop sharing.
Sure. Yeah.
Button's gone.
If you're still with us, thank you very much for the 5 minutes we've gone over. Alberto says, great, and thank you for using Strata's ATCH. Albertus, you're a lovely guy, but I don't think it's because of you, it's because of the hardware. Albertus, we love seeing the applications with Stratus as ATC or Stratus hardware in general. We've actually given it's really, really good stuff. Cool. So that is all that we have for you today. I do want to, if I can get it right. How do I do that now? I want to do that, and then I want to share again. Something that we've mentioned in the past, but we haven't really focused on, and I want to make sure that I get everybody's attention on it, which is this. You can hopefully see is we do have a immunity impact program. I'm guessing we can see the screen. Eh?
Yes, we can.
essentially what it is if you're involved with a community, a person, or a group of people that is either non-profit or charity, and now that you have a little bit of a better idea of how Ignition could be utilized, and as a community in need, we would love to donate Ignition licenses. We would love to donate our time as well as the time of whoever else would want to volunteer to help see if Ignition can make a positive impact on that community in some way. There's some amazing examples of this elsewhere in the world. There's a couple of homeless shelters that are being run, completely run and managed on all fronts, logistically, commercially, by Ignition. There's also some food locker in the UK, some food locker type applications. So if you're aware of any community that is in need of technology to help improve lives and improve processes for that charity or that community, please let us know. We'd love to donate some Ignition licenses, and more importantly, some of our time to help make that happen.
And some of yours.
And some of yours, yeah. So that was the only request that we had for you today as part of the deal. Vian, thank you very much. Vian was complimentary about the application that you guys have built, so thanking you for your time.
Thank you.
As should we. Thank you very much for your time and for sharing. I know it's always difficult to find a couple of hours to do that, and people are always a little bit apprehensive of sharing. And I do understand the sensitivity when you're showing other people's what you've done for other people. But we really appreciate your time this morning. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, thank you for inviting us and everyone for joining in.
Yeah. Any closing thoughts from anybody before we call it?
All good.
That's it. Yes, thank you very much. We will see you in, I'm guessing, 3 months' time for the next quarterly webinar. Have a good Friday. Have a good weekend. We'll chat to you soon. Thanks very much.